second anniversary of the war on Ukraine is coming up this Saturday. Could you tell us how the war has been affecting Belarus and how has your work changed in the past 2 years, if it has, into the war?
The beginning of full invasion became the biggest trigger for public protests in Belarus since autumn 2020, and we saw how thousands of people came on street to protest publicly. Nevertheless, it was extremely dangerous, and more than thousands of people were arrested, detained, and sentenced to up to 15 days in prison because of just expressing their protest against the war in Ukraine. At the same time, we see that a political regime in Belarus is supporting the war, and Belarusian territory is used by Russian army, and we see that the biggest part of the population and, of course, democratic society, civil society of Belarus do not support the war. We protest against the war and we support Ukrainian struggle on this war by different ways. And you can see dozens of different activities that people in Belarus started doing after the beginning of the invasion. For example, there were some Telegram chats where people sent photos and videos of Russian army on the territory of Belarus. They provide information to Ukrainians. Also, people try to damage railways in order to stop Russian army and war technique. People protest and express solidarity. There are some Ukrainian refugees in Belarus that are welcomed, of course, by Belarusians. You can find Belarusian voluntary soldiers as a part of Ukrainian army. And also, we try to collect information about Ukrainian children on the territory of Belarus. Where are they? Who are they? To have this list and to watch carefully what is going, at least to collect this information. Nevertheless, we can't help these children and send them back to Ukraine right now. Belarusian authorities are extremely interested in these activities, and almost all public protests and statements about war in Ukraine and supporting Ukraine is highly noticed by Belarusian authorities and repressed. There are cases when a young lady was punished by 6 years of prison just because of reposting in her social media information that she's against the war, that she does not support, and she calls people not to support the war in Ukraine.
So, what would be your message to the world, to the people of Ukraine, as this anniversary is coming up?
I'm really sorry for the war is going, the war was started, and that some Belarusian people take part in it supporting, and Belarusian territory is used to be part of the war. At the same time, I express my greatest solidarity and support to Ukrainian people, and I believe that extremely soon the war will stop and Ukraine will be free and continue to move to democratic values and society where human rights are the base and respected.
And how do you see the three countries, if we take Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia, in terms of democratic values? I mean, there seems to be the common denominator of President Putin moving things.
I definitely see that there are three independent countries, Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia. Of course, we have a lot in common. We have common history. We three can speak, and understand Russian language. That's extremely comfortable and should be used as advantage. But at the same time, I want to highlight that there are three independent states with different authorities, laws, and so on. So the independence of this country should be respected by each one. Of course, it's much more better to be friends and partners with your neighbors than not. So Of course, I hope and I dream that Belarus will be a friendly partner of Ukraine and Russia and other neighboring countries like Lithuania, Latvia, and others. Uh, Definitely for today, the situation looks extremely dangerous, unfriendly, and not very promising. But I hope so much that people of these countries, maybe not authorities, especially regimes in Russia and Belarus, that people can deal with each one. I have so many connections and friends in civil society and human rights defenders in Ukraine, in Russia, doing a lot of amazing common projects for last 20, 25 years, supporting each one. So that's a great base for future. I also want to add that it's extremely important to collect information about crimes of war that our Ukrainian and Russian colleagues are doing, and to bring this information to international court and to put perpetrators to the answer, to be punished. That's extremely important, and that also makes a great sense when we speak about respect and peace.